quiet. Go on and get crunk. Head back to Longview, Kelly popping trunk. I ain't even tripping. Riding and I'm sipping. Let me come through 4-4 steady tipping. On that new lap. Watch the trunk crack. Let me sit sideways, CB running back. Maybe AP, maybe AD. I ain't even tripping cause we some athletes. Messing with Smitty in the summertime. He get pissed if we don't make our time. But we gon' get it, cause we gotta finish. Nebraska horn hustlers, man, we diminish. Put them boys little, paint like a skittle. I ain't even tripping, I ain't never double dribble. Cause I'm a player from the Himalaya. Let me sit sideways, man. Maybe back door, maybe fall off. Sipping codeine cause I gotta kill a cough. Let me sit sideways in the big Benz. Oh, you boys, they my brothers, they my friends.
All right, welcome into Fullback U. Man, I think this is part 3 with us. Just excited to have the All-Americans on the show that can't have an All-American, but excited to have. We got to start with Superman first. How you doing, Roy Williams?
I'm chilling, fam.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all get to laugh at that shit. Y'all know it's important. I'm
salty about this All-American joint, man.
Rufus, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. And it's unfair that you couldn't become an All-American.
I appreciate you saying that.
You should be one.
Well, let's start with you. You went to the game yesterday. I don't think you went to the game, did you, Roy? Yeah, so you went to the game, Rufus. So just talk about what you thought of the game yesterday, what you thought of the season.
I mean, defensively, they came out ready to play. I mean, they put out 2 of their quarterbacks. I mean, Brewer couldn't sit in the pocket and do anything in there. Then they put the next guy in, and he couldn't throw the ball at all, and they would just come in over and over. And it was the front 7 that kind of really controlled the whole entire game. If it wasn't for some of the short fields that the offense kind of did to the defense, I mean, it would have been a total dominant performance. They put in a third-string quarterback, and the guy can throw. And so, it kind of catches you off guard because now you're playing everything tight, and this guy comes in and he starts slinging it. They played 3 different styles of quarterbacks in one game, and the last kid that came in, the Zeno kid, came in, and he kind of caught him off guard on 2 plays, and it kind of got interesting in there. But the defense, man, for the most part, held their own, and it's been the whole entire year. I think they've been consistent. They've had their peaks and valleys, but that's through every season. You go through your things mid-season and all that. The season is just played different, but those guys, I think, held their own all season and grew and had matured all season long. Offensively, I mean, we can see it changed throughout the season. We thought there was going to be a passing offense. Then it turned into like a run-dominant offense.
Quarterback run.
And then it quarterback, the offense just changed so much throughout the season. And I think offensive line-wise, it just kind of finding themselves on the offensive line.
I heard you with Toby Rowland the other day on the post game, and I want to hear more about your thoughts on preparing for 2 different quarterbacks. But Roy, I want to get your thoughts on just the team, the season, and the Big 12 championship game.
Big 12 championship game was great because they won. How do I say it without sounding like a mean person? But we have bigger and better things to be, getting prepared for. We expect to win the Big 12 championship. So, enjoy it. But, I mean, the reason why you go to OU is because you want to win national championships. You want to be playing nationally televised games, and you're here to try to get number 8.
Big facts.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm very proud of how the team played. I guess some people took my Twitter comments, I guess, about Jalen the wrong way. Well, yeah, they got butthurt, and we'll talk about that. Whatever. I mean, I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? How I felt. You know what I mean? So, but I think the offense did good. I felt that, for our offensive line to, coming off last year or when they won, I forget what the award was for being the best offensive line.
Joe Moore Award, I think is what it's called.
So being that, and and then getting exposed by only 3 people on Baylor's defensive line, allowing up sacks and some tackles for losses. So they're gonna have to bring their lunch come college playoffs because LSU has got some dogs on their defense line. I felt the defense played very well. They had a few lapses, giving up big plays. But overall, I think they played very well this season. Sometimes it is, in your season, it's a long season, but at the same time, you have to stay consistent. And I felt like, they had some lapses. But for overall, I mean, it was a 180-degree change from what we seen last year.
Yeah. Just talk about preparing, Roof, for two different quarterbacks. And then coming up, we got obviously LSU, and I want to hear both of you guys' thoughts on playoff type atmosphere. Obviously, you being from Louisiana and Roy having the expertise of winning the Natty. So just talk about that, the adjustments into the game.
Right. I mean, the thing is, it's hard to even, prepare whenever you Oklahoma go and play against any team, because a lot of times you prepare for something during the week and you get into a game and a team just totally changes everything that they've been doing, and you have no tendencies or anything. I mean, that happened to me a bunch of times. Playing against Colorado, Iowa State, and all those teams, they just change up everything and they come out in something totally different. And that was one of the reasons why I was able to become a starter at OU. We played against Bowling Green, and they all we seen on film was powers and, I formation stuff, and they come in there in 5 wides, and Urban Meyer came in there and it was like, hey, Rufus, you're starting now, because I was the coverage guy, and I ended up, making a name for myself then. So being Oklahoma, you have to kind of always be able to adjust on the fly. And I think defensively they were able to adjust on the fly with the first 2 guys, because the second guy that came in was more of a running guy. And Brewer really couldn't get anything done as far as with his feet or throwing the ball. He wasn't very accurate when he was throwing it, and he couldn't get the ball down the field. But the third guy that came in, man, Zeno came in and he was ripping it down the middle. They ran 4 verticals one time, and he put it on the money. And for the defense, for a linebacker, you're so used to being so aggressive and doing all these things, and Baylor hits you with 2 quick ones. So you didn't have a good shot to really adjust and kind of settle back into the game with a different guy in there. So when overtime came, they kind of figured him out a little bit, and they started to get pressure there as well. And they were able to kind of get him in long distance stuff and behind the chains. And that's what talking about the game, we knew that to beat Baylor, you had to get them off schedule. If you let them be manageable, and that's with any team, they just don't have the guys on the offensive line to sit back there and protect the whole entire time. And that was one of the biggest changes in the game, was whenever they started to be able to get pressure on this new guy that was back there and really, brought a little bit more pressure and stuff. The front 4, front 5, whatever they playing 3, whatever Grinch does every now and then was that whole entire game was really dominant. I mean, what's so big guy named Redmond?
City.
Oh man, Redmond.
Well, he's fast, dude.
Hey, Redmond was a dog out there. I mean, he couldn't be blocked. He and Benito had a little game going on that side of the ball, and they were always getting to the quarterback where he would come outside and Benito would come in, and Redmond would fake outside and stay
Perkins
inside.
Rush,
Yeah,
a lot of times forcing things.
those guys, man, they have a good little system going over there. So you got, still it's tough preparing for all those different quarterbacks, man. But playing at Oklahoma, you always have to learn how to play on the fly, because there's been very few games I've gone into where teams just stuck to what they did. They always kind of did something different.
Yeah, Roy, talk about the adjustments, and then I was over here looking at their roster, and the thing that sticks out most, kind of what you talked about, is them, aside from them having glorious Louisiana French or hood names on their roster, is the size of their.
You said that, I did. You brought that
up. I'll show you the list, Brad. Don't worry. But the size of their D tackles, man, 350-pound, 360-pound guys. We're gonna be able to move them. Talk about adjustments and those guys for LSU.
Well, you talking about for the adjustments
QB
from Baylor,
and stuff like that. With
it's tough to go into preparation not knowing who the quarterback can be or who the quarterback is. But if you don't have enough film on the second team guy, the third team guy,
third team guy only threw like 4 passes.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. he had like 1 touchdown, and he went 3 for 3 for like 40-something yards against TCU or Iowa State, whoever. I seen a little stat on TV. So you really have no film on him. But
that boy came in and tied the game in a big.
I honestly felt like when we played Green Bay, we had Brett Favre, and Brett was stinking it up. And then we accidentally we accidentally hurt his hand, and the Aaron Rodgers came in and he started lighting it. He started lighting us up. Boy, I was like, I said, put Brett back in. You good. So it was, I mean, he was started making a comeback, and then Brett came back and
y'all sealed the deal.
Yeah, sealed the deal. But it's tough to prepare for guys that you haven't seen on film. But I felt that they made a great adjustment. Grinch did, especially in overtime when they start coming after Zeno, because I mean he was eating them up because we weren't getting pressure on him, and then when we start bringing that pressure on, you know what I'm saying, a person that's not used to that, I mean he folded his tent pretty quick.
He was one read. He was doing one read.
He was like, get out of here. You know what I mean? I'm not trying, but
and that's how he got him on the first one. He one read the first two long ones he threw. They ran 4 verticals and he just threw it on 4 verticals.
Yep, he did.
Question, and I know you'll probably have this probably be more for Rufus, but I'm sure Roy, you'll have somebody ties to LSU. Who you know the coaches there, Roof? I'm sure you know some player, maybe even some players there.
I don't know
anybody on the staff? Do you
there.
not have any coaches that are there or anything?
No, I mean, because Carl Dunbar left. He's in Pittsburgh now. He was at Alabama. He was a big LSU guy. But man, but I don't go back home enough to kind of see if any of my cousins are on the field or playing anymore. The few years back, I mean, they had a bunch of Zenos, Alexanders on there, so I knew a bunch of them. I just don't go home enough and really keep up with LSU to even keep up with any of my family members, as even if they're on the team.
Everybody's gonna want to know: did they offer you that whole deal? Were they a
yeah? They offered
school
me and all. Yeah, they offered me and stuff. There wasn't one of my schools I was gonna go to. I just was gonna either go to Texas or Oklahoma. That was kind of my whole pick on everything. I didn't want to stay in Louisiana. Just too many family ties, too many bad family members that's out that way. That'll just show up. They show up at school on your thing. Hey man, need some tickets. I mean, that's just tough. I just wanted to get away from that environment, so that's where I left and was gonna go Oklahoma, Texas, wherever.
That's real. Roy, any LSU connections, stories, Saints stories? Did y'all play down there? Anything? You like gumbo?
I mean, I like gumbo, but
right, your fucking gumbo looks amazing, bro. By the way, on Twitter, you seen it?
I didn't see it,
bro. We gotta pull up pictures, bro. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
So you didn't bring any?
No, it was a while ago.
That was selfish. No, Marcus Spears, played in Dallas together, and then Maurice Claiborne, corner, Jim Thorpe-Warner. He's a LSU boy, but I mean, I really don't have much. I actually, when is this gonna air?
Probably a couple days, 3-4 days, somewhere around there.
Okay,
no more.
I did. Yeah.
Show that to the camera.
I did. I don't even know if I should say it, but I did vote for Grant Delpit to be the Jim Thorpe winner.
Okay.
So I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that, but I did vote for him, and I'm actually I think I'll be fine because I'm presenting the award this year, so in Atlanta, so that should be cool.
Big time.
So yeah, that's it. I mean, those are all of my connections I can think of. Yeah. I'm sure it's somebody else. Oh, nah. Well, no. Here's the deal. Well, you talk about any connections to LSU. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a big connection. It was that time I cussed out the team because it was an LSU game. y'all folks blew the championship. Yeah. We had people celebrating after touchdowns, and that just really pissed me off because I was like
dancing on the sidelines. Yeah, and stuff.
I truly felt, and I said this on Twitter too. I said I'm tired of being the last class that won a national championship.
Real, that's real.
That's not. And it's all fine and dandy. Oh, you're the last team that won the national championship. That's all cool and all, but we've been to national championship games way too many times and freaking squandered it away. And it hurts because it's like, dude, you guys don't understand just the window of opportunity to even be able to plan a national championship game, and you guys are taking it lightly because of the folks that came before you and how easy it may have seemed, but it's not. It's hard. It's hard to get to, a national championship and be able to play and, not give 110% effort and, you know what I mean? It's like it's a business trip.
That one we lost to LSU, I wanted to cuss everybody out too because the quarterback, my high school quarterback was the receiver there. Michael Clayton.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So number 14.
Teammate with him in the Bucks.
Yeah, so he was there. He was my quarterback in high school. Played against Marcus Spears when I was in high school. So, going back there, going to Oklahoma and having a chance to beat those guys, and then they win. So, you don't hear it. You don't hear the end of it if you ever kind of get around them and stuff too. So
Yeah.
You could talk about it though, Roof. And I mean, dude, people think I'm crazy. They'll think whatever you want. But when we lost Mike Stoops that year, the shit was a wrap. I mean, it was a wrap, dog. The way they ran their system, you can't lose a Mike at that time and expect shit to be the same. You can't prepare the way they prepared. You know how that shit is, Roy. P's and Q's. Everybody knows what everybody else is doing. If there's a minor breakdown, if there's one breakdown, everybody breaks down.
I get that, but
Mike
We had multiple.
Mike called some of that
we
game,
had
though.
multiple breakdowns. There was a breakdown on Monday at special teams meeting. There was 3 DBs late
Yeah.
because Mike wasn't there. You knew Monday, Bob's getting up out of his chair, meeting people in the hallway, like
Shit,
what
the
what,
breakdowns
yeah,
happened whenever we was at
Lord.
K-State.
That's
Was when
what
the
I'm saying.
breakdown happened, bro.
And then so it got us into a point. And then Mike, the K-State and the LSU games were 2 of the games where I literally had to fight my way on the field because there was nobody defensively. BV was an adjustment guy with y'all.
Right.
Mike was an adjustment guy with Long. Mike would tell Chuck, bro, Chuck, you run that fucking ball. You better run the ball. You better get my defense off the field. I mean, Mike would say that. And Chuck would listen. But when Mike wasn't there, we went one back. I mean, Mike had that effect. And so, I mean, when it left, our DBs weren't the same with communication. It wasn't anywhere near because Bob hadn't been there and hadn't been in those meetings like that. You know how it is. I sat right by y'all's the red room where that door, I could hear it. You could feel it. We was in special teams meeting. You could feel it. I mean, that's the game that I feel bad that you weren't there, that we were so close. And even in their backyard, I just feel that if we had him to finish that K-State game, not put out there, we're wounded on just to give LSU a chance to just go 0 man all day, and do what they do.
I mean,
I think we would have been more successful.
It was a different. It was definitely a different feel to the whole entire team. The K-State it's not even an excuse because you run the ball towards the end with Kewan Jones at the end. I think you win that game. They wasn't even getting in stances and they were blowing LSU off the ball. You call timeouts, let them readjust and get their win, and you throw 3 passes and then the game over. But I think the game that hurts me the most is the USC game, and that one hurt me because just like Roy said, it's so hard to get to the national championship game, and I think there are dudes that were on the team at that time that squandered that one away, like before the game started.
Yeah.
Before it even happened, any of that, before we even touched the
I agree
field,
with that.
there were guys that just squandered the shit away and was just out there, just to be out there and
happy to be there.
Roy's
I'm going to
well,
the league type shit.
Yeah, and Roy said it, but it was a business trip for y'all. You know what I mean? Like you got off the plane, and that's where I felt like 03 was that type of business trip. Even though we didn't have Mike, like we understood that, and then 04, I think some parts of it we took for granted. We didn't prepare the way I thought we were ready on the field, but doing the shit outside of it still just wasn't there.
I mean, shit,
it wasn't there.
You get at the end of the game, guys didn't get on the bus. People went on limos, man. Shit,
yeah.
it was a different. Like I said, when y'all went there, it was such a business trip, and y'all was so pissed off that for all the years it was telling, well, y'all ain't shit, y'all ain't gonna do nothing, right? So you have they have the '90s, you have the early 2000s, and they all get told all this stuff, and then y'all get on the biggest stage, and you can rewrite history, so your focus is so different. So y'all done made that happen. So now you have the other guys. You got guys going top picks in the NFL, big time defensive linemen come out. Roy Williamson went top in the draft. And so now here you are on the biggest stage. Some guys has this other, I've got to get ready to go to the draft. There was a lot of mindset, like a lot of the mindset that happened USC game. Yeah. That's what it was.
Everybody's going to want to hear this, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm going to give it right back to you. But for our offensive identity, we lost some of it because we started out with a fullback, and the fullback doesn't play the majority of the game. Not to say that it's just me, but we weren't there. We were a run-dominant team. We were an AD team at that time. Defensive identity with Pelini, was it the same with the DBs, that whole deal?
Pelini had a good – the thing about it was Pelini and Brent didn't get along. Because
that's real.
And that's real talk. I mean, in that game, I watched those guys go at it. I mean, in the practice, they went at it. I mean, Pelini saying, "Well, we need to do this. We can't just do check to this all the time." And they had a full-on screaming match, and Pelini said, "Fuck it, run it your way." That's how he went up. I mean, that was bad because the team saw it, and then you saw it in the game. You saw the not being on the same page with the linebackers in the secondary wasn't on the same page. And what Pelini said in practice is exactly what happened. He said, if we do this the whole entire game, they're gonna run 2 verticals, and my safety will not be able to get over here. And sure enough, they'd run 2 verticals on one side, and they would square in late. Rodney would be looking at this one. When that guy would square off, he couldn't get back to the top vertical, and Liner was just putting it on the money, which it was easy for him to do. Because Rodney was in a chase position, so it was just different because Coach Venables was now getting into his own and learning how to adjust and coach and be the guy that calls it. He didn't want to be another guy; he wanted to be the guy, and so he was learning to be his own man at that time as well. And now where Coach Venables at, if Coach Venables was coaching that team by himself, then it would be a different result than what he's doing, because the way he's coaching now is so much different. His mentality is so different, and how he coaches guys. He don't try to get into perfect play anymore. He just let athletes go be athletes. And that's what the thing Mike would do. Mike said, well, I know what Roy Williams is really good at doing. I'm going to teach him how to play this one, and, hey, Roy Williams, you do the rest.
So let's talk about that because, and I'm going to drop some real flames on this one, but, okay, the one thing that I give you guys credit for, Roy, is y'all didn't have any weaknesses.
We didn't.
So how do we get back to that? Where do you see us needing to fill holes defensively? Is there certain positions? Is there an entire fucking position group? What you got?
Success breeds success, right? And in saying that, you need to have a dog on the defensive line, then you need to have a dog at linebacker, and then you need to have a dog in the secondary.
Yes, sir.
And then once you have that guy, that's that dog, everybody's watching to see what you do.
How close are we on each level to having that guy?
Defensive line is about there. Linebackers are there. I really like Caleb Kelly, and I really like Kenneth Murray. But who knows what's going to happen with Kenneth? He may decide to skip and go to the league, which I get it. You know what I mean?
Gotta go.
But you have those examples. You know what I mean? But it's tough to say they're examples because I don't know their film preparation. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're putting that extra time in with their coaches to understand and let other players see that. You know what I mean? Or even know about that. And then you see their play. Their play is impeccable. Secondary, I don't know. They show flashes, and then they have some letdowns. I like Trey Brown. I'm not even gonna lie. There are times when I'm thinking like, okay, I think Buki's getting it, and then there's times I'm like, nope, he's not. You know what I mean? And that's not disrespectful because it's just the highs and lows being a secondary.
A Roy Williams would never lose physically, targeting or not. I don't know why people come at you on Twitter. I'm gonna just say that because that's the Roy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
no, you're fine.
The Roy Williams that I saw was taking quarterback to pitch, was not gonna lose a battle in the hole.
Nah, that wasn't gonna happen. Well, you got to understand. I mean, when you wear that Sooners on your chest, you know what I mean. You got the OU on the side of your helmet, and then you're playing on nationally televised TV, and you got your people back home in the Bay Area. You know what I mean. I'll tell you something. You get ran over by anybody, your phone gonna be blowing up. Like, oh, you didn't got soft. You know what I mean? Like Oklahoma's made you weak. So, hell no.
So I want to get y'all's thoughts on this. I thought about this too, and shout out to my high school winning 4P.
Congratulations!
Thank you very much, Jay Hunt, our homeboy Jay Hunt, and you guys, you know,
Jay Hunt got one going right now.
Yeah, he legit. Well, you got and you kind of mentioned it because you both are from out of state, and you guys play with me, you guys play with Jay, and there's not many schools around here. I'll just say it. They could go down to Evangel, could go out to Oakland, could go out. We couldn't do that and play that type of ball. But was it interesting? Talk to me about your Carl Albert and Jinx teammates, because those are the two names around here. So you're Keywan and Jason Carter. You would be Rocky. Fans are gonna love this shit though. But I want to hear about and you can even talk about me, but just was there a difference between, because you all probably came into it like, man, these motherfuckers can't play no football, and then you do see a few programs that are probably up on the net, getting just those
question.
two. So
That's a great one.
So just if you can,
The thing about it is, you see a guy that's the weirdest thing about Oklahoma is you can go to a lot of high schools and see a ton of very talented kids out there, and there's a person coaching that don't understand absolutely shit about football. They don't understand a damn thing about football. Don't know how to teach them cover 2, cover 3, how to get in the stands. Their workout regimen is so terrible, and they just look like a terrible athlete. They look bad. But whenever I came out of high school in Louisiana, I played defensive end. But what I was I was fast. I worked out. I was strong. I had all these intangibles, right? Like Trey Brown did whenever he ran a kid down on a play. I got cut down at the line of scrimmage, got up,
seen it on your highlight film.
Yeah, ran a guy down, and that was, and Coach Venables talks about it. That was the play that got you recruited or whatever, right? So you have a ton of guys that can do that. You get here, Larry Burdine was a physical specimen when you seen him walk through the door. He come out of Lawton. Yeah. You look at DJ Wolf came here, was able to change them from different positions. Chris Mesner, he played offensive line. But, you have those athletes. It's all in the development of those guys. I think the biggest problem with Oklahoma is the coaching. The people that they allow to coach kids doesn't allow them to develop to where they can maximize their potential. You go out to Cali, there's somebody that has some kind of training facility or some kind of passing thing here or some kind of workout thing or somebody you go work out with, run some hill, some mountain or something.
That shit's just starting here.
That that really kind of that really challenge you to compete all the time. Louisiana, we run the levees. I worked out with Warwick Dunn.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
When he's in Tampa Bay, he comes back in the summers and work out running the levees and shit, and we over here trying to keep up with this dude. It's just different, and that's how Louisiana was. It was always some kind of lifting weights and somebody that's trying to go to the gym and do some other bullshit instead of sitting in the house playing video games. And your coaches was hard-nosed as well, and how you lift and how you worked out. So I think Oklahoma has the potential to have really good athletes. You see them. They're going to Michigan, Ohio State. You got the kid went to Nebraska also. So you have a lot of kids that can play, but you also have a lot of bullshit people coaching kids in Oklahoma. You can go to Douglas. How does a school like Douglas go 0-11? Don't win a game.
It's unfortunate. In high school, they undefeated, best district. The city schools have fell off, Roof, to be completely honest, aside from Millwood.
But the city schools falling off, but they're not. The reason why they're falling off is because there's not a coach that's sitting there really coaching these kids the way they need to be coached as well. They just let them fall by the wayside. You don't hold them accountable. You just got a guy that come in and just do stuff and say, well, the kids ain't winning, that is what it is.
Man.
And you go on about your business. And they don't get fired because, there's a shortage of teachers. There's a shortage of this.
Oh, man. You hitting on a whole new pod, brother, because I feel it personally on that shit.
So, that's why I think they're below a lot of people because they love football here. But you can go to a lot of towns and you can see that the bullshit side of it.
So Roy, I thought of two other and I want to get your thoughts specifically on Keywan and Jason Carter, but Matt McCoy and Corey Callens, two guys I really looked up to, man. Give me your thoughts on your Jinx guys, and you got a pretty cool story. You and Jay Hunt were roommates too, so anything off that?
We had Rocky Callens too.
Yeah, Rocky. I said Rocky. Yeah,
you said Corey Callens,
but earlier I said
gotcha.
Rocky. Somebody, who was the other one? I'll think of it. But
Dan Cody shit.
No, Dan was Ada.
Yeah, he was Ada. We had
Ada.
Dude, Oklahoma's some old country strong boys. I'm just gonna be honest. I had awesome, man. Rocky. Hell, what can you not say about Rocky Callens? He was asked to do so much and he succeeded.
On a broken leg at times.
Broken leg, broken arm. You know what I mean? Like literally, he had a broken arm, but a broken bone in his arm. He had a cast understand he had a one-handed interception when we routed Texas 63-14. I mean, you just have an appreciation for Oklahoma's dominance in high school football because the players are smart and they know how to compete. Corey Collins was a great defensive lineman here at OU.
I love CC as a person, man. Great person.
I don't think he gets enough credit because I mean there were so many other greats that played the position, but to be able to suit up with them, it was awesome. I felt bad for Matt because he had to back me up. And his ass really never got to see the field. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's just because Matt was good. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it was cool because when they started implementing that whole Roy position, I was able to come in as basically a hybrid safety linebacker. And then they brought Matt in, and Matt, I mean, he succeeded, man. He had a couple of interceptions, had some big time tackles and pass deflection. So. I love Matt, man. He's awesome, man. He's up in Tulsa now, being a State Farm agent, owns his own company. I mean, it's, but
huge play to Chris Chester on the field goal too. His senior year, the fake field goal from Matt McCoy. Did you see that one? When Chester caught it with his elbows. You remember that one? Mm-hmm. Great play.
Colorado, Missouri. I think
it was
Colorado.
Up as Missouri because he was struggling with Brad Smith that day. Ooh, my Lord! But everybody did.
My boy came in with a whole new offense that day.
Really?
Oh my Lord! Well, I'll show you some highlights, but man, that was a tough day for him.
Because he didn't start off like that. He came against us, and that man was a different. They just ran something totally different. It was,
but Matt McCoy.
Matt's awesome. No, I mean Oklahoma football is. They play great ball out here. I mean, you have your certain areas that are better than the other ones, but I mean, overall Oklahoma football. I mean. Play some good. We had a linebacker. I think he was from Oklahoma, Mike Delaney.
Okay.
Dude, straight bro, like he middle linebacker, bro. We had a dude play running back named Gumbo.
Jermaine Fasano. I heard that name.
Dude, it was the equivalent of when Steve Atwater hit Christian Okoye head up in the middle of the hole. Broke Gumbo's jaw, bro. Wired shut. Mike Delaney gave him the business as a true freshman, bro. Like hey. he was no bull. Like, I mean, he was
okay. Now I got some real shit for the young kids out there. How did the coaches respond
to that? Mm-hmm. They went wild. Dude, everybody's like, oh.
So bro is over here.
Dude,
jaw is toasting. Everybody, oh!
Dude, it was,
dang.
I was like, because you got to understand how big Gumbo was. Like, he's a Louisiana boy. And, I mean, he was a big fullback, bro. And, like, you know what I mean? You didn't want to I didn't want to tackle him.
It was the end of his fullback days. Did he continue playing fullback after that?
I think he did. He got drafted, didn't
he? He did play. I think he played like 1 or 2 seasons in the league. Yeah. But, I think he was done for that season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
and then Keywan
and Carter. Any cool stories about them? Do you think it was a difference between
Jay Carter had talent. I mean, Jay Carter was underneath a nut job, and Mike was so tough on him.
Yeah.
But he was awesome on special teams. He always came out. Jason Carter, man, he stuck to everything, and you could ask him to come in, and he would play any position you would ask him to play.
Same with Keywan.
Had a ton of talent, man, and Keywan. You know, for a guy that comes in undersized, and he always played like he was 240-pound running back, and he was just straight downhill. It was no nonsense. He was cool away from the field. I mean, bad story about Keywan, though. Gayron Allen gave him the business one day in practice, too. I believe it. And there was a zone, and you know how you have that tunnel in the zone where you don't see that linebacker coming from the outside. You didn't see him out his peripheral fast enough. Hit snot bubbles in that man's nose.
Really?
Like real. He got up, snot bubble. I mean, big in this thing. I was like, whoa, hello, whoa. And I mean, that was one of the hardest hits I've seen somebody take. And Keywan got up, wiped the snot off his nose, line back up, and we ran the ball again.
Yeah.
That man stayed in the game. There was no concussion, go check a guy out or whatever. I mean, Keywan was a straight-ahead running back, and that man worked hard.
He did.
That man, I mean, for somebody he just worked hard every day, all day, and ran the ball the same way all the time. He ran the ball like Adrian Peterson ran the ball for his size. He ran that same way as a little guy. And I played with Matt, too. Matt was awesome. You know, he was the same, like you said. He would always come in, do his job, make a pick. He'll either make a pick, make a big tackle, or something like that. Matt was just
consistent.
cool, man. This is a cool ass dude that wouldn't the game wasn't getting too high for him or low for him. He was always just steady.
Yep. Carter was my roommate in the Bud, and then me and Keywan became cool. We was both in on goal line. But I want to get your thoughts on Jay Hunt. You know, we talked about Jay, but as your roommate,
dude, we were roommates my second year here. We first stayed in the Bud. It was me and Damien and Jay. I think Jay had John Connor as a roommate.
Jay's that boy, JC.
JC. But yeah, so he was with JC, and then that second year we moved over Summer Point Apartments. Is it Summer Point? Is that
man.
Summer Point? Yeah. Because it's not Boyd, but whatever the one that Brooks.
Yep.
Is a Brooks. So yeah, we lived off of that. It was awesome, man. We had a good time. I mean, fools used to always steal my DVDs. I love Jay, man. Jay is awesome. Still talk to Jay today. I need to respond to his text because he asked me was I going to Atlanta. But I do. I mean, our practices were very intense, man, and I truly feel so bad that I'm because Jay blew his knee out, and it was fucking because of me. You know what I mean?
Big of you to admit.
You know what I mean? I feel horrible about that, man. I still do because it's like, dude, Jay was special. You know what I mean? It sucks that, you know, Gundy and them weren't ever really giving him a shot because, I mean, he could have beat out at least 2 or 3 of the people that were getting in the rotation. But I feel bad that, you know, Jay was plagued by that knee injury that he sustained in practice. But Jay was a phenomenal running back, man. And, dude, to see his highlight tape from high school, dude, oh, my goodness, bro. Like, I mean, it's like, I mean, you seen Javion play, his son?
Uh-huh.
Like, his is like that. That's all I got to say. You know what I mean?
His highlight tape is nice.
Okay, but his son, I mean, basically it's like fast forward to 2019, it's like what Jay was doing in high school. What you're seeing his son do. I mean, it's like, it's a mirror image. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, that's Jay. I seen that on your highlight tape. You know what I mean?
Right.
But his son is just taking it. He's taking that hand. I mean, he's taking that torch and just rising the level of play. And the Hunt family, I mean, he's balling.
Yeah, really proud of Jay, man. He was a big influence on my life, obviously, being there, and that was an awesome story that you told. But just again, seeing him, and we'll have to put some of those highlights up of him. We're gonna do a celebration pod with him and his son and a couple of the kids that I've known, and it's been awesome to see. And Rufus, he made the USA Today. I'll never forget it. Everybody at the high school was flipping out because he made USA Today like one of the front page of the sports, and it was because at Noble he went 5 carries for 305 and 5 touchdowns before the half was over.
What?
Dude, Jay was
5 carries?
5 carries, 5 touchdowns, 305 before halftime was over.
Dang, that's unreal right there.
5 for 5, fam.
Jay was legit, bro.
That's nice.
And now he may have had some extra carries on there, but there was a 5 for 5. So. Yeah, he was popping them. So I want to get y'all's opinion on this.
The game's over.
Over. You Nobles never beat us, by the way, Jason Kersey. Sorry. You guys and Trey Brown, the hustle play.
Yeah.
Give me your greatest hustle play. Whether you mentioned yours in high school, but I want to hear it at OU. Was there a hustle play that you got called out great for? Because y'all did not deal with loafs very well. Them shits were counted every day. I heard it.
Man, I don't know, man. It was. We made so many tackles for losses and stuff that it really didn't have. And guys were on the back end.
Was there any chase down plays? Because Trey's is like 40 yards. I'm with you. I know
we didn't have very many big busts where you had to go and chase somebody down, and that spoke a lot to our defense. We didn't give up a lot of huge bombs, and if there were like a bomb or something, I mean, it was a touchdown pretty much in the end zone. Yeah. So they didn't have very many big, long runs where, you know, you had to have this big chase down or something like that. So I don't really remember any of them. I mean, I kind of don't, though.
Yeah. Roy, you have any?
I've had. There was one in 2000. We played Nebraska here. They hit us with that option, and they handed the ball off to the fullback. I had to go get him. And then I think there was a play against North Carolina. They did some type of underneath drag route, crossing route, or whatever it was, and you know Curry put it on them, and I had to go try to chase him down. But that was pretty much it. I mean, we you talk about no loafs. I mean, we truly prided ourselves on flying around to the ball. And if one person missed, there's going to be like 3 other people on your ass. So
it's real.
So you really had to go have that bust down the field because it was like 3 or 4 people already there knocking somebody.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was like my biggest thing was when I was played is I don't want no assisted tackles. I want all my shit. I want my shit unassisted. You know what I mean?
I love
being
y'all.
honest.
I love y'all.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Like
friendly fires.
That's
That's the worst. Friendly fires the
Yes,
worst. That's
it
how most
is.
people get hurt.
I would not. I truly would give up. Like there was a play in Texas Tech, right? When we played them in Texas Tech, 2001. I think we just got done scoring, and they made a fluke play. They did do a trick play. They threw it over Rocky's hand. He missed it. And that next play, they did a running play. And I was coming down for facing them from the left hand side. Somebody was coming from the right. And I looked like we were about to collide. And I just eased. I just was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I would not tackle people when we were going like this.
Right.
I would not do it. You know what I mean? I would not do it. In high school, I tried it. Got a stinger. In college, I did it, and I got another shoulder problem. I was like, I would not do it. I don't care what it was. If we are going in like side to side, I would ease up and not do it. You know what I mean? But and that happened in Texas Tech, and Ricky Williams was talking all this noise, and just he had a long day. Let's just say that. Outside of that run, but I would not make any tackles going side to side. But I didn't like having that stat. Say I had 99 tackles, but I had 73 on the system. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I always, because it's like, I did all
Right.
by myself.
That's me.
I
That's
didn't need
me,
no
fam.
help.
I'm unassisted. So low.
Yeah, I had more solos than I had assisted
awesome.
tackles, and I hated assistant because I think CJ hit me one time, and I was about to I'm bringing the guy down, and CJ just dove. You know, he just for no reason just dove, and man, just boom. I'm like, what the hell?
Is he still at Vanderbilt, by the way? Oh, he's not?
CJ's
Okay.
doing XFL now.
Okay.
And I think New Jersey.
Yep.
And then Clint hit me on a friendly fire as well. Jamal Charles, like coming down the middle. I'm tackling Jamal Charles, and he comes and he hits me off. I'm like, how the hell did I miss the tackle? And we watch it on film. Clint didn't even look, and he just went straight across and hit me right off of him, straight in the shoulders.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
Let's go to that. Let's go to that.
Gone.
Hardest defensive hitters. I know you were a very hard hitter, but Clint was a hard hitter. I've heard of Freddie Fleeks back when y'all was there making people do fucking backflips and shit.
Freddie Fleeks.
Was that his name? Linebacker? Teddy Lemon used to tell me about him all the time. Something
He
Fleeks.
wasn't there when I was there.
Was he younger than you?
He had to be younger than me.
Okay. I
Because
think he was a little bit younger.
We had Torrance Marshall.
Okay.
We had
Oh,
Rocky
shit.
Camus.
Yeah,
we
shit.
had Roger Steffen. That was our core. We had Brandon Moore.
Oof. B-Mo's a big dude.
And then,
B-Moore looked like a robot. I thought he looked like Jax to me. He was like I saw him first time I saw him. He looked like Jax off of what was it, Mortal Kombat?
Yes. Yep. No, B-Mo was legit,
Dude,
though,
arms
man.
was like,
Dude, he was cock strong. Like, he was chiseled.
But people don't know Brandon Moore's brother, Rob Moore,
Moore.
was the guy that they made the movie Jerry Maguire about. That's it. So he looks just like fucking Cuba Gooding Jr. When I went to during my pro training, used to go out to Scottsdale, and
really?
B-Mo would be out there, and we work out together. So we're still real good friends. I think he's coaching.
He's at he's coaching at something Mines.
At School of Mines or something like that.
School of
We'll
Mines,
post it
there we
all.
go.
But I want to get your thoughts on this because A little bit difference between bowl game and we'll get a few more
got the
questions,
hard hitters,
questions. Go ahead. Oh, did you already say yours?
Nah,
I'm sorry, my fault.
Sorry,
My fault.
he's about
Go ahead,
hard
say
hitters.
yours. Say yours.
Mine was Lance Mitchell, bro.
Yeah.
Man, Lance Mitchell could hit you. He can be standing straight up and down and hit you, and you go backwards. I watched that man hit Cedric Benson flat-footed.
Wow.
I mean, he like
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Sam.
yeah, I mean, he hit that man. He was coming straight at him, and he flat-footed stopped, caught him, and picked him up and went back the other way. And it was you heard the helmets go poof, and then you see him go the other way. And Cedric Benson had full head of steam. I mean, to hit somebody like that doing that, I mean, you have to have one, a hard head, and two, you have to be just a solid hitter. And Lance Mitchell can hit.
Brother Book could hit. Wayne Chambers could hit.
Cheaty Patterson.
Cheaty could hit.
Cheaty Patterson could hit.
Whichever name it was.
That man came to school whenever he was 16. He started playing for OU when he was 17. By the time that man was a senior, he got in here. He was like 175, 185 pounds. By the time he left, that man was 240 pounds, ripped up,
like yoked,
and call you Mon. Hey Mon.
Hey Mon.
Hey Mon. Come here, Mon.
That's bullshit, Mon.
Dog, and he would light you up on special teams.
Wow.
Fuck you, Mon.
Yeah.
That's it.
Was he Hawaiian?
Nah, African dude. Yeah, he's an African dude, bro. Ripped up.
Was Mon.
When I first got on campus and BV showed me a picture of Cheaty, and I was like, that's not the same person. It looked like the Cheaty I knew ate the person that he showed me a picture of. Wow.
He just go by one name on Facebook. That's his photo right there. That's look kind of like you, Roy. A little bit.
He didn't change. He didn't slim down. Cheaty cool peoples though.
Yeah, he is. He's great. But I want to know y'all's difference between regular ass bowl game, playoff, or natty.
For me, I mean, I think the prep's all the same, man. You always got to, as competitors, I mean, as people that really likes to compete and always want to win, you always compete to win. You never, if you're gonna go at a game and say I'm gonna put some extra on this game, that means you're gonna be trying to play out of your body and do something totally different than you normally do. You have to always play your game whenever you're going into it, and to try to prepare differently than you've always prepared. You're gonna play out of position, more times than not, it do more hurt than it does any good. Whenever you try to prepare different than what you've always done. So no matter if it's bowl games, regular season games, practice, whatever it is, you always prepare the same.
What you think, Roy? Same thing?
Oh, most definitely, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. I mean, when you put on that uniform, you represent the state of Oklahoma and yourself as well as your teammates and your family. You know what I mean? So it's no matter. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter what game you're in. When you put that Sooners on, you represent the whole state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, absolutely. Any thoughts on? I think they play in the Georgia Dome. Have you played down there before? Ruf?
No, it's new. It's a new one, isn't it?
Is it the Georgia Dome?
Yeah, but it's a new one. The Mercedes.
Oh, that's right. It is the new one.
They blew up the other one.
That's right.
It's the new joint.
It is.
I
new
ain't
one.
never touched that.
And
It'd be nice to see it though.
What's your thoughts on LSU squad?
I mean, they're explosive offensively. I think you see now people in the SEC are really kind of hushed on this whole defensive side of things because of Alabama gave up a lot of points, but they're also starting to play a lot more snaps on the defensive sides because the offense has picked up on their scoring, picked up on their pace of play as well. So with that in turns, their defense plays a lot more snaps, and you get a good bit of film on them to really break them down. And we'll see what they're not good at pass route wise. And I think Oklahoma get a good look at what LSU struggles with offensively because they played so many snaps. They played against Texas. They played against Alabama. And they had a lot of snaps on that. So offensively, LSU's legit. They got receivers. They got a good offensive line. They got a running back that really fits what they do. And Burrow could really spin the ball. He can throw it. Yeah. I mean, he has a nice little swagger to him. You're not gonna rattle him in the game. He's not the Burrow of the past 2 years that he played prior to this new offensive coordinator coming in. He has a little swagger with him right now. Defensively, like I said, I think they're not the LSU defense of old. They're not always well rested because their offense usually scores in bunches. They have a really good second. They have one guy that's really, really good in the secondary. It's Delpit is pretty good. He can play. He's a dude, and they got some solid linebackers. One of the kids we wanted to get over here
committed, the Phillips kid
that committed and decommitted, and you have another dude I forgot his last name.
Caleb Von Shashan.
Shashan, yeah. Shashan is another kid that
He
can
tore his
really play.
ACL last year. He's back. He's amazing.
Outside
I love him
linebacker
to
can
death.
really play, can run.
Yeah.
So Oklahoma gonna have their hands cut off for him, but I think offensively we can hang with him. Defensively, secondary wise, we gonna have to be ready to go. We gonna need Roy to suit up for this one.
Yeah, no
And
joke.
put out 2.
Yeah.
You gotta knock out 2 of them.
Thoughts on LSU, Roy? And then
We
you got
start a bar fight. That's how we gonna win it.
Yeah, no
We start a
shit.
bar
Yeah.
fight.
Keep their ass out late. Thoughts on LSU, and then you got to talk about the Hurts tweet. We didn't get into that.
Well, I mean, Rufus explains the whole matchup perfectly. I really don't even reiterate what he just got done saying because I feel the same way.
I want to know about the Hurts thing. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, I tweeted during the game because he just threw an interception and then came back around and, his ball caused a fumble, but then he fumbled the ball. And I said, I'm tired of hearing post-game interviews saying I need to play better. And I said, just play better, my dude.
Facts.
You know what I mean? That's all I said. And then somebody made a comment saying, well, should Lincoln bench him? And then I tweeted, hell, Saban did. You know what I mean? But am I lying? You know what I mean?
That's
But
fucking hilarious. First of all,
I wasn't being disrespectful by no means. Right. And I didn't even say he needs to be benched. I said, I'm pretty sure they'll go in at halftime, make the proper adjustments, and they'll come out balling. Right. And then I said that, dude, I'm Sooner through and through. You know what I mean? I just want them to win a national championship. I'm tired of being the last class that won a national championship.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there was no disrespect towards Jalen. And I even said, now I'm not saying that he needs to bench, but I'm saying your quarterback won and you need to protect the ball.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't throw senseless interceptions and give somebody on the inside of our red zone an opportunity to score. I mean, you need to take care of the football.
Defense saved them
numerous times.
I mean, yeah.
So that's what the whole thing was, and then people got all butthurt because they're thinking that I was disrespecting our whatever, however they took it. Man. Which, I mean, I'm sorry, but what I said is the damn truth. I mean, it's. When you got a quarterback, he threw an interception, on your side of the field, inside the 20, I mean, or wherever it was at, it was on their side of the field. I mean, you can't recover from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
and the thing about it, what kind of also rubs me wrong is that, they've been crucifying the defense for forever.
Yeah.
Over and over.
We get a pass, fam. We get passes, fam. Come on. We allowed to make
understand
mistakes, fam.
Hey, look. Hey, look, man. It's crazy.
You got one more mistake, okay?
Look. You're talking about Baylor was handicapped the whole entire game. They couldn't make it from the other side of the field to where they, just to get in a position to even score.
We should have put the dagger in 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Right. And so whenever you don't put a team away, you have this situation where you're playing an overtime game where you should have been up at least 2 or 3 scores, or you should have been up 2 scores, and they didn't even have the opportunity to score on the other ones.
Let me ask you this before, because I want to get both y'all's opinion on this. Okay, where's the inside run game? And do you all think that that's what we need to do, quarterback run game, to get our runs inside? Or, because to me, the majority of our runs are outside runs. The majority of our successful runs, are we going to be successful that way?
Go back and watch the game.
I didn't see the second half, so I apologize about that.
Go watch the first half as well.
I watched first.
Baylor was taking everybody going to the outside, so the middle of the field was wide open. And you go back and you watch the second half. They went early in the first half. Kennedy Brooks was making his yards up the middle, but they kind of kept going to the outside, trying to continue to go to the outside, and it wasn't working. They got to the second half, and they started when they made the drive to go up again. They went right up the middle with Stevenson. They went up the middle again with Kennedy Brooks. That's how he got hurt. He went.
Do you think that'll work going forward?
You got to do what a defense gives you. Baylor said, "I'm not going to let you get to the outside," because what they do against Oklahoma State, they got to the outside at will. So if a defense said, "Well, I'm gonna take my safeties and I'm gonna split it to where I'm gonna make you have to go inside," damn it, go where they tell you to go. Take what they give you. Make them play to where they have to start blitzing on the inside. And Baylor's changed and they started blitzing on the inside. And that's where, I think where Lincoln Riley and Jalen Hurts are not on the same page, sometimes he could have checked out and threw it to CeeDee Lamb by himself in a one-on-one.
He had a ton of one-on-one situations. I'm like,
what are we doing? And we still ran the ball, and they blitzed it, and it went nowhere. But I mean, if you come up, man, they showed it. Baylor showed it. Safety came down. Everybody came down. CeeDee Lamb by itself. One-on-one.
Yeah. So I know, for the fans that know, how can I miss the second half? My son had a basketball game at the damn YMCA. So that's where I was listening to it on the radio.
Grown-ass man.
Roy, just talk about what you thought as far as what I said on interior run game. Are we going to be able to get those tough yards? Because that's what it's going to come down to in the big games.
And you mentioned, should we continue with the quarterback run? I don't feel that any quarterback should subject themselves to getting hit like that. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. I mean, because
I want to get your thoughts on that.
You can get hurt, or you can fumble. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We don't need either of the two. So I mean, what happened? And this is no disrespect, but what happened to the first 5 games when we were freaking airing it out and everything was good?
6, 7 people were touching the ball. 8 people multiple times.
We got away from, and this may be their scheme on what they're going to set up LSU for. You know, the last part of the season, they see one thing, and so that's the only thing they're going to prepare for. And then they hit them with what they did the first 4 or 5 games. Maybe, I don't know. It'll be a good switch up because I'm tired of seeing what's the name Tuckett. I mean, like literally, they had that one when CD goes in motion and then he just takes a step back and then he starts running. I mean, ain't many 2 people gonna handle CD on that motion because if it's man, they're running with him and you snap it, they give it to him, let him go run. You know what I mean? But that's just a couch coach. You know what I mean? But I feel that they have 2 good running backs that can run downhill, and second half they were starting to run a little more downhill with Stevenson and Brooks. So we'll see. I hope there's a method to the madness to what we're seeing. But no, I don't feel that it is okay for our quarterback to be the marquee guy, the running back. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, but whatever, people want to throw up stats. So he has combined 4,500. Yeah, but at what detriment? You know what I mean? We lost a game because of turnovers, and it was no one else's fault but the person fumbling. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, but whatever. I'm the hater.
Right.
But I'm the hater.
Yeah. But I think also they go into this more heavier run because he doesn't see the field well.
I don't think he knows the offense as well as the other guys. I don't. Just my opinion. That those other guys have been there for a year and 2 years. I mean, to me, Roof. If you don't know that shit 3 different ways, 5 ways deep. Here's one. Keep your thought. But on the pick, Roof, Morris falls down. He eyes him down. He eyes down a guy that fell down. Mm-hmm. What? Go to the next guy. I mean, I'm not a quarterback, but I've heard in those fucking meetings that this guy, you plan on something happening. Shit happens. Oh, next guy, can't run. But we just, this guy, okay, I'm going to chunk it, and Becker falls right into it.
Right. I mean, but there was still like, it's sometimes when you're in a game and you can look at the game from the sideline and kind of see what's going on. And I know he can't see it in that situation, but if you read and know coverages and you know the routes that are going out, right? You should know what's going to be open and what's not going to be open sometimes before it even happens.
Sure.
I mean, if defensively I can tell where is our weaknesses and what they're doing by what this guy does this guy has to do that. He should have those same, but he doesn't have that same mechanism of thinking. It's like 1, 2. If I don't see right now, I'm going. I'm taking the ball. He takes the ball and he tucks it down.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I know. Or he does that dead leg going out of bounds all the time. But there was a play in that game where it was before they were being conservative. Well, Charleston Rambo goes on the deep post. He looks at the deep post. It's the safety right there with him. And Charleston Rambo, they have one safety that's low right here and one safety that's high. And Charleston Rambo goes on a deep post going across on the other side. You know how to do that? How they would throw that one all the way back across the field to CD, or when they did it, they used to do it to Hollywood all the time.
Yep.
Well, he has 2 steps on the safety going the other way, even probably more. And he didn't. He looked. and he tucked it, and he didn't even throw it.
Yeah.
And he got sacked. He had to punt the ball. But I mean, if he throws the ball just to where Charleston Rambo can just run underneath and catch it, he'll outrun the other guy over there because he's fast.
Or a PI or anything
But he
or
never,
something.
but he never takes that chance. And I don't understand or get why he never takes that chance, especially on a third. It was a 3rd and long, and that's like kind of one of my big problems. Like, man, he has a lot of physical capabilities, but he also doesn't give his receivers chances to catch balls.
He has a shit ton of weapons,
right?
Offense that he needs to take advantage of.
And he holds the ball. I mean, there's sometimes, like I said, like Roy said, you see CeeDee Lamb 1-on-1. There's no reason why the OSU game, he's 1-on-1 on this side, and he looks at the 3 receivers on that side the whole entire time and never
that was ignorant to me.
Never even, y'all to chunk the ball up and say, hey, go get it. And that's what was the difference between the other quarterbacks. They trust, a lot of times, they just trust CeeDee Lamb to go and get the ball. So I mean, the quarterback run game, I'm not a big fan of it because I think it hampered a lot of the running backs, the growth of the running backs that you had there. Because a lot of times he would selfishly pull it a lot of times. Whenever if you give it to the running back 2 times, it was like there was a joke. Me and a friend of mine had a joke. I said, anytime Kennedy Brooks has a big run, the next time they do a run, Jalen Hurts is going to pull it.
Interesting.
And I've been 98% right on that.
Interesting.
He has a big run. Next time they're going to do the zone read. He pulls it and tries to go.
Interesting.
So watch it next time you play. I mean, you go back and watch film and check it out.
Yeah.
You'll see.
No, I will. You brought up Ced's name. We were teammates with him in Cincinnati. Rest in peace to him. You got any funny stories? First, I got to say, I only brought it up because hilarious dude. Like, all about himself,
was awesome,
but
man.
hilarious.
He was a quiet dude, kind of stayed to himself. But I mean, if he liked you, he liked you. You know what I mean? He had a big heart, man. He was just an awesome dude, man. I have so much respect for Ced and but no, I really don't have many funny stories. I mean, because he was really quiet. I had multiple dealings, like hanging. I mean, like saying what's up to him, and just chilling for a little bit. But nah, it was more so just chilling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
First time I met him was on my recruiting trip to Texas. He was sitting in some nice ass car and chilling.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't say all the rest, but I mean, he was in a nice car.
That's
and stuff.
big
He was
chilling.
chilling. He
Yeah.
was chilling. It's like, oh, that's Cedric Benson, our running back or whatever, and my man murked off, gone. But he was, I guess he went baseball or something.
He did.
He had some baseball money, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
We played on 2 teams together, man. So, like I said, rest in peace to that cat. Well, let's get to these Twitter questions. This is a good one to start out with. At Sooner_Dad, he wants to know if you had to choose a former coach of yours to coach your kids, who would you want it to be and why?
Does it have to be college or high school?
Any.
Let's
Let's do one each level.
I mean, my high school coach, he coached me basketball.
I've met him.
Football.
He's awesome.
Yeah. So, he's the only reason why I made it. I said the only reason why. He's one of the big reasons why I made it to college and instilled a lot of discipline. And I ran a lot for grades and different stuff. Made me learn the importance of education because I did so many up downs for making bad grades and stuff. So, he would be the one because he pretty much kind of molded me and prepared me for college and a BV. And I was able to take the hard coaching and being yelled at and being cussed out by Schmitty and having to do all this running stuff because I had a psychopath in high school.
Roy, what you got?
Oh, it's tough, man. Because no disrespect to my high school coach, I would take our JV coach, Coach Quisenberry. He was an awesome coach. I wish he was.
So I'll take my JV coach.
Yeah.
I would. Because he
Invested.
he called the plays, offensive plays, and our head coach wasn't. Let's just say this. I had a buddy come. He came in town a week ago, and he was telling me about our coach, our high school coach, then on how he was sabotaging people's recruiting. As far as hiding letters and
wow. I thought they only did that in Louisiana, bro.
So I didn't know anything about it because honestly, it was tough to try to do that to me because we had schools show up to the school at practice. It just wasn't they were sending letters. They wanted to talk to me type stuff. So I would say it was tough for him to do that to me. I guess I don't know, but I had he told me that, and I was like, wow. And he told me that the reason why Stanford took back Damien's scholarship because Stanford, I guess, talked to the coach, our head coach, and he says he's not going to be able to recover from this. And Stanford took back the scholarship. I didn't know that.
Damn.
And that's how we came to OU because it was a package deal. But so I would not say my high school coach held to the nah.
That is messed up.
I would say it is messed up. I would say Coach Q, and then OU. I honestly, and it may seem weird, but I would say Coach Venables.
Hey, that's real.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he would break it down, explain it to you, walk you through it if you applied your time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you didn't apply your time and you came in there just to do the bare minimum, then he gonna lay into you. But if you at least invest your time, take time to understand how to do it, and then go do it, you know what I mean? He will work with you. And I thought it was a tragedy when you guys were talking about Mike leaving, because I said
You
to
knew
this
that
day,
connection.
I knew I'll say it till I'm dead, that those two were the best 1-2 coaching punch because they worked so well together. Even though they were at each other, Mike didn't back down from Venables didn't back down from Mag.
Yeah.
And they both
Figured
at the end
it
of
out.
the day, they figured it out. They learned on the fly. So yeah, that's
That shit
Mine
hurt.
would be college would be Coach V as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To put for fans, and this is just outside looking in. So if I had a Coach Hayes coach my son, if I had that, my son would be super militant, super disciplined, and it would be like almost this respectful fear of his dad. Okay, if
I feel that, bro.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? If I
Oh
had
my
someone,
gosh.
if I had someone coach my kid would come back telling me about the rule of 72 and telling me about 4 verticals, why it translates, and what I should do with my money when I'm 55 years old, and what shoes I should wear on Sundays. I mean, you know,
He probably gonna be tatted up too. The earring and be cool as all get out.
Sammy's just that guy. But no, I think those were interesting answers for sure. At T Kincannon 21 wants to know, this is a damn good one too. How hard is it to do what Grinch has done? Like getting guys to buy in and put in the work in less than a year. Does that come with a new coach? You know these things, Roy. Or do you have to see it to believe it? Also, how y'all deal with all these Twitter coaches that sit on their ass all day?
I didn't even know Twitter coaches existed.
They saying like Twitter coaches, like
I didn't know that.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, shit. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You start out. How hard is it to do what Grinch has done in a year?
I'm just gonna give him an example. So when we had Bill Parcells, in 2000, well, we had him for a couple of years, but so after he got let go, right, in 2007, I want to say it was 7, and we had Wade Phillips, right, and then we actually went like, I don't know, like 12-3 or whatever whatever. We had a great record, but it was that mentality and all that that knowledge that we got from Parcells that was kind of residue, and it rolled over into that season. And then the next season we had a dismal year. But so I say that in saying I feel that some of that those teachings and that hard-nosed way that Mike was coaching is carrying into how these guys are playing with the leniency of a coach Grinch. You know what I mean? So I feel that they're playing more free. I feel that it's broken down and made more simplistic for them to play. I don't feel that they're overloaded with what they need to. What on any given play you got to be in 3 different places, 4 different places. It's literally, I feel that it's, hey, we're going to call zone blitz. We're in a zone blitz. That's it. It's no zone blitz. They motion. You switch it. We're going to do cover 2, our man all across the board. It's just it's just simplistic, and they're excelling at it. And that's great. I love that those guys have bought in. And that's what I used to always try to tell people, it's like, dude, if you just spend some time with your coach and understand what they're trying to teach you,
Makes so much more sense.
It does, and it makes more sense, and it makes you that much better of a player because you know everything that a team can throw at you, and then you don't have any. You're not second guessing yourself when you're on the football field, and that is key when you play football. You know what I mean? It's like if you go in the game and they call a play, and you're like, shit, I got to think about three different plays that may mess me up, and or you can go on the football field and you're clear, and it's like, dude, I'm ready. You know what I mean? It's like, I kid you not, it's like that, like Last Dragon, Bruce Leroy, when Leroy got that glow. Like, I swear to God, like you got to get the like when you get that glow, it's like, dude, you are unstoppable. Like I don't. And I'm not trying to steal the show, but it's like, dude, when you are just like, dude, you just know everything, and you're that prepared, dude. There's no joy. It's like, dude, you just like bring that shit out. You know what I mean? It's like, dude.
And it happened for me. Like I said, my red shirt sophomore year when Lance came back for his senior year, Lance would call the front, but I'd make all the checks. But because Gay Ron would help me understand the whole entire thing. Coach Venables was like. Because he had Teddy and all those guys, so they knew everything, so he could be like 4 steps ahead. Yep. And once Gayron broke it down for me one day, man, when you're going on a pass drop, if you look at 3 and 3 does this, take your eyes to 2. If 3 does what he's supposed to do in the first one, 3 is who you have. If 3 goes and does something that you're not supposed to be in that area, that means 2 gonna come in your area. If 2 leaves your area, that means 1's coming in your area. I mean, when he broke it down to that kind of concept, I was like, well, damn. Yeah, it make a lot of sense, and I figured it all. I mean, I figured it out in that second year. It was like I can make all adjustments and I can apply my rules to everything. So if a team came in and did everything that we said, like we saw in film, it was like not even they didn't have a chance. When we played against teams, man, I remember times I'll get in there and I'll call out, run left. I'll get in there and I'll tell Bird, we played against A&M one time. A&M lined up. I said, man, Bird, go get this sack. And he's like, what? Go to the quarterback. Quarterback did the little zone read. He went straight to the guy. Bird missed the tackle. I was like, damn, dog, you don't want to be great. Because I knew what he was doing. He was going to fake the run. He was going to roll out. Just how they set up.
It ain't no feeling. It ain't no great. It is no greater feeling, bro.
Yes, that's the best feeling is knowing your shit and stuff. And those Twitter coaches and stuff, man, it's just kind of, it is what it is. What Grinch is doing in his first year is really cool because the kids believe, and that's all you need at that point, though. Because where they were at, they didn't believe. And you got the belief back of the kids. Yeah. And that's the first part to turning something around, is having people believe in you. People didn't believe in Schmitty when he came in doing all that shit with you guys, throwing trash cans out there, running the hell out of you, and changing your mindset. But when you got on the field, you were so pissed off at him that you would knock this dude out. But by the end of the game, you still run and try to knock heads off. You're like, damn. I feel good. I still got it. But sometimes you don't realize it till you go through it. And these kids, they have a ton of talented kids that's on the team. Their focus was just different. Their belief was different. They would give up and wouldn't believe in what he was saying. And then you had coaches that were over there not even giving the support that they were supposed to give and kind of being out for themselves. I mean, and he also changed the front for Tib and let the guys up front attack. I never understood why Mike never changed the front. Instead of letting them sit in that frog stance and let guys just tee off on them. And I just think he allowed those guys to be free, like Roy said. Let them play.
I pride myself on being a smart football player. To me, defensive players are smarter. Here's why. When you go into a defensive fucking meeting room in college, the goddamn goal boards take up every fucking wall. I mean, unless you're in a quarterback position, it's not like that on offense. Yeah. It's like that for fucking every position on defense, okay? Yeah. With that comes a group of GAs and quality control people and position coaches that study teams to a fucking T. And y'all know number-wise or quiz-wise, B. Hall, great coaches. Y'all know their offense to a certain to the mathematical extreme, and then you're tested on that, and the responses are within a second, or they're wrong, and their adjustments off of that, kind of what you talked about. And then with offense, unless y'all are just creating some new exotic blitz, there's just not much. We have to know what you're doing here, what you're doing if you blitz, what you're doing if you drop. I mean, it's not crazy for us on offense. But my thing with the Twitter coaches is, I mean, dog, I've studied this shit with the masterminds of offense. We played with Gruden and Sean McVay and all these people, and so I know the damn terminology. After studying all that shit and doing all that shit, I don't want to come on Twitter and hear some generic bullshit. I'm sorry, I just don't want to hear. You know, a lot of times, and I don't mind like talking about it, but to me, the problem that I have with the coaches is when they feel like they know what's right and they know what we need to do when they don't understand how complex a play call is.
Yeah.
Just one play call,
Right.
just one audible for y'all. Just one fucking punt team. You people don't get it. Rufus made me, and I joked about this the other day about with Sauce too. Rufus made so much of us better players on scout team. We could never probably thank him for it and didn't fucking realize it. Sauce couldn't block him on backside cutoff, so he started cutting him, and Coach Wilson let him. I mean, because he's on scout team and shit like that. And I felt so fucking bad for Rufus, man. But I'm like, damn, you know, because he's whooping Sauce's ass. But then Sauce is like, fuck it, I'm a senior. I ain't going to lose this shit and just going to cut him. But there were other times
Sauce
where...
was cheat, though. That
He was
motherfucker, he
cheat.
would grab my leg, man.
Yeah.
I'd get body cut. I'm going to grab my leg. And pull.
Yeah. So, just...
By any means necessary.
Wilson was cussing their ass out.
It was just it was awesome to see that, and then Roof made me, and you used to do some of this stuff where it's just you know, I'd get down in my stance and I'd go. Roof would be the backer over here, and I'd be going to cut off the end, and if the end went way upfield, I'd go to get Rufus, right? When fucking Rufus would just I mean, there's just no chance of me even getting him, and of course he goes over there and makes the play.
Yeah. And
so he makes the play, and they're like, you know, you ain't supposed to go. I'm like, well, fuck, he's not necessarily my guy, and if he goes that fast, I'm not gonna be able to get him. How'd you know? Well, JD, you come up and you get immediately in your stance, so I know it's not a pass, and you didn't look at me, so I'm figuring that I need to go backside or something, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know, there's little things that a guy like that picks up on that's a smart player that, again, those things you can't, not even a coach is teaching you.
Yeah.
It's another player who's picking up on tendencies and shit, who's studying this game, ready to fuck you up on a Monday because he ain't playing on Saturday. It's Monday. You know, I'm fucking getting my ass off this scout team on Monday. You laugh because you know how it is. Yeah. One day,
Monday, the toilet bowl, baby. You know, the toilet bowl, baby.
It's
On Monday.
the
toilet bowl.
Things happen in the toilet
real.
bowl. Yeah.
Under
That's
the
real.
lights.
Hey, guys, we're going in the stadium under the lights.
Yeah. Rooting them on.
Yeah.
At Boomer1969-1 wants to know, what are y'all's thoughts on the transfer portal? Would you have liked it during your years? Also, got to throw out a Boomer.
No, I wouldn't have, because I probably would have left after that first summer I had with Schmitty or some shit like that. But no, I mean, for me, I think sticking it out, you know, because I was kind of heartbroken whenever Mike left, because I really liked Mike as well, because he would talk to me. He would talk to me a little bit different than Coach Venables would talk to me, you know, and so you kind of start liking the guy that, you know, in the other room and don't know how crazy he is, because my guy's always, you know, you know what I'm saying. But Venables was just was mean, dog. That man, he said a lot of bad things, but I think sticking it out though kind of gave me, you know, you get a sense of pride, you get a sense of sticking out, not always quitting on something. Football is a brutal game, man, and there's no guarantees of you leaving here and going somewhere else and starting. So once you get there, well, you start there. Look at the Martell kid at Miami. There's a lot of Fields. There's some Field. They got stories like Justin Fields, Barrow, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray. But there's also a lot of stories like the Martell kid that went to Miami also that you never hear, that you don't hear anything from, or they don't be able to play somewhere else. So at some point you're gonna have to stick out. You have to stick it out. And a lot of times, a lot of these kids don't look at themselves in the mirror whenever stuff ain't working for them at a certain school.
And that shit starts in middle school. You know, it starts in middle school with my kids. I'll say it. You know, we need to stick it out. When shit happens, we need to stick it out. We don't need to transfer to the blah, 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 or get this and that. We need to be a good 7th and 8th grader, a good teammate in 7th and 8th grade. And I hate to say it, it's an unfortunate deal. And AAU, if used right, can be done well. 7-on-7, if used right, can be done well. But there's also people out there that don't have your kid's best interest at heart. And communication with the coach is important. The coach is going to be real with you on what they see in practice. I mean, and some of those things get distorted with the AAU culture these days. Yeah.
Some kids got to realize you're good enough to come to college, but sometimes you just ain't good enough to play in college either. You got to sometimes you got to just get your education and be done, man. Because like I said, some guys come to college, bro, and you realize like, damn, this is a totally different. It's a
different spectrum when you.
Was Hawkins the best athlete you saw not make it?
Michael Hawkins, is one of the best athletes.
Who's the best athlete you saw didn't make it at OU?
That didn't
make it
to the league
or
anywhere.
Just LU or league.
Dang,
couple of them.
Yeah, like when you say didn't make it, like didn't make the field.
Yeah,
didn't make the field.
Maybe the workouts, mentally make it. Just
didn't quit.
There
Or
was a
whatever.
lot of people that didn't make the workouts. That's not fair.
I'm talking about quit wise. I mean, Michael Hawkins quit.
Yeah,
I mean, he was talented.
I
man.
honestly forgot all the guys that quit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was so many of them. It's just like, well, you gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you quit, you quit. And as far as the whole transfer thing, I had an opportunity to transfer. I didn't. I could have. I mean, UCLA was welcoming me back on open arms. But I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm okay. If you don't want to be here, effing get out. You know what I mean? Right. That's just how I feel. You know what I mean? I know Rufus feels differently, but you can stay, stick it out, but if you even have that doubt in your mind, you do not
need to go.
belong. Yeah, you don't need to be on this team.
And
that's how I feel.
Yeah,
you know what
I
I mean?
feel that
It's
as
like,
well.
dude, if you aren't busting your ass and doing everything that you can do to get on the football field,
you ain't gonna work somewhere else anyway.
You're not gonna work somewhere else anyway. And
this is different.
The whole Oklahoma student creed, you know what I mean? It's people that are here want to be here.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they want to suit up in the crimson and cream. They're gonna bust their butts and do everything they can to be on the football field. But if you're making excuses and not doing all the workouts and all this stuff, please do us a favor and get the hell out. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel about transfers.
Especially if you're making me miss my times and I got to come back at 4 o'clock. Man, look, go ahead and quit.
Well, this is coming from a guy, again, and I mean, I'm not trying to brag on the high school too, but, we come from a place where they're working on the 5th today. They're meeting on it today. I came to this thinking that OU was just not what it truly is. Like when I came on my visit and saw you get drafted, that was an awesome time too. What an awesome deal of you to have it in the OU facilities.
Well, they didn't invite me to New York. They only took like 2 or 3 people that year, and I mean, it's congratulations to OU. Because they
benefited off that.
Oh
shit.
my goodness!
We was walking up like,
it was so. This shit was lit.
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yes,
it was.
It was so crazy, bro.
Man.
Like it was so crazy. Like Bob was like, "Hey, let's do it here. Let's do it at the Baylor Switcher Center."
Yeah. I wouldn't go to New York anyway, man. That could be embarrassing.
If you got any video,
no,
I
would have
some
went.
video pictures or something like that.
New York?
I don't blame you. That's the ultimate.
Dude, why not? I mean, dude,
you could be Aaron Rodgers, one of them other guys that's sitting in the room. Nobody pick you up.
How they did Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? Or Manziel.
Yeah, you sitting in that damn room.
But they said I was going to be a top 10 pick or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but no, OU.
That was awesome.
That was a great weekend for them, the recruits, and for my family.
Over the alley hooped it, dunked it for them.
They showed up. We was walking up the stairs and Roy stands up and was like, yeah, getting drafted. I was like, oh shit, it's awesome.
Had the cameras there. Yeah. It was awesome, man.
Yep.
It was a great experience for everybody.
That was great.
I mean,
Yep.
You welcome.
Yeah, exactly. at Is This Shit On wants to know, he says, Rufus, have you seen anything at linebacker that leads you to believe that they can withstand the loss of K9 next year? And Roy, a lot of people talk about needing taller DBs, which won't necessarily hurt, but do you find that mindset is more important? D Straight was a dog. Ask the fake Roy Williams from Texas.
Wow.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang. Shots fired. I watched D Straight run that man routes for him every game. I was like, damn. Linebacker-wise, I mean, I think Deshaun White has a lot of promise. The way Caleb Kelly's playing right now, it seems like he's going to be gone at the end of this year.
He ain't going nowhere.
I mean, he's on his 4th game.
I think he has to do with like a hardship or something. We'll think about it.
But no, I mean, if he plays 5 games, if they beat LSU and he gets to his 5th game, he can't redshirt. He's done.
Got you.
He's out of here.
Wow.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, right now he's played 3. LSU will be his 4th. And if you know what I'm saying? What do you do if you win that one or lose? You know what I'm saying?
Is he a senior?
Yeah. Yeah, he came.
But he can get a
redshirt.
red shirt if he
doesn't play his four.
I mean, if I was him, I wouldn't play.
I wouldn't play. I would come back. And that's what I
I
told
would come
him.
back to have all my games just to prove that my knee is
Damn,
healthy,
that would
you know
suck.
what I mean?
You'd have to sit out the fucking natty. Ooh, damn. That would be cold.
I mean,
It sucks. Now look,
Shit.
I wouldn't probably do it, but I mean, because I've already I wouldn't do it. No, I wouldn't do it because because I'm not playing anymore.
Right.
But
for him, he's not. He don't have a lot of film
that's what I'm
right
saying.
now this year.
So,
I mean, he's only played sparingly in
interesting.
situations.
That's interesting.
Did you go to the combine?
I didn't get invited.
Okay.
I would have got invited my
You
junior
go to
year
the
though.
combine? So you know how they pick and pry at you
Yeah.
when you go through the doctor's station. So
And he still runs with a little limp too.
Yeah, so you might want to give it a year. I mean, and that's real.
It is real.
You might give yourself a year to get your knee even stronger,
because he's going to take. He's
and
going
then
to
get all the film.
Because he's going to get an MRI on his knee.
Yep.
He'll get an MRI on his shoulder because he had shoulder surgery that 1 year. So they're going to pull on it, move it up and down. They're going to put the hand. Every team you go to, they're going to have 5 or 6 teams in there.
Yes.
They're going to move your arms. They're going to do the same thing to your leg each room you go in. So each team can take their team doctor and they can pull your knee and all that stuff and move your shoulder and stuff.
I was so fortunate that I have no serious injury outside of a sprained ankle or whatever,
Yeah.
because
Maybe on.
I've had.
dude, I walked by the room, I was like, oh my gosh.
I had one
Pretzel.
ACL. I did the
They, dude,
ACL.
they were. Oh,
Yeah,
my,
dog. I
was
got on the
like,
table,
wow,
bro. I
it
did the
was crazy.
ACL
Yeah.
protocol
Them
thing
things hurt without
over
you
and
even,
over.
like,
That
having-
dude,
yeah.
they sit you on the thing, they move it. Man, that's a good hamstring ACL repair. We're gonna get an MRI. Washington Redskins. I went through everybody's thing, and the Washington Redskins made me go get an MRI. My last meeting room I had to go to. Everybody else said I didn't need an MRI. Washington guy said, I'd just like to get an MRI to make sure.
Just in case.
Had to go sit in line. I mean, you ain't don't. It's like
it's a long.
it's
ass
a
line.
long ass.
It's like
line.
people just do what they gonna X-ray on this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
No, it's like midnight.
I believe
I
it.
got back to the thing at midnight. Had to get up in the morning, do
About
all
6
this
in the
other
morning,
bullshit.
yeah.
It was terrible,
Did
bro.
you get the answer about K9 loss?
If Caleb Kelly comes back, you'll be fine. Deshaun White's is a pretty good linebacker as well. They got right now they're recruiting a kid out of North Carolina, I believe. I think the kid that's coming from Weatherford's going to have to stand up and play a linebacker. He's going to have to go to an inside linebacker. I just don't think he has the
Unless he grows or something like
yeah,
that.
I mean, that's not looking like that. So, and you look at Asamoah, he has a lot of talent, but he just doesn't play the game right from a mental aspect. But they have a lot of guys that are there. But the thing I'm afraid about is if Caleb Kelly don't come back, Deshaun White didn't show he can step up and take that will spot and was in a battle pretty much throughout the year trying to become the guy. And there's a lot of times in games where he takes piss poor angles. He knows where the defensive line is slanting. He has an advantage, and he doesn't cheat to give himself an advantage to combat a guard coming at him or rip underneath somebody. And
Same thing I was talking about you used to do to me.
so, yeah, I like what they have. They have a lot of promise, but they got some kids coming in. They should be all right. But if Caleb Kelly comes back, they're going to be A-okay. They're going to be fine.
That's what's up. Roy, taller DBs, is mindset more important, and how's it feel to be the real Roy Williams?
I mean, I never doubted who I was as Roy Williams.
Yeah, it was between, if you ask me, it's between you and the guy in North Carolina.
Other Roy Williams got paid, though.
And you are, he has the greatest gift in the world coming in have you seen him when he walks in the locker room and does the shimmy? Have you not seen that?
Oh,
That's
man,
hilarious.
yes.
You've not seen it?
That's
And
hilarious.
everybody put the
Yeah.
Twitter memes on him. He
Dude,
he walked in the locker room.
Hella
did all
funny,
that.
bro.
When your
It was like
homeboy-
after they had a big win.
When your girl say you can go out with the guys and he walk into the locker room and shimmy and everything.
We gonna turn up. So as far as taller DBs, I seen the benefit of having taller DBs with having Andre Woolfolk and we had Mike Thompson. But yeah, we had D Straight, we had Perkins, and
Perk was
did
6'1"? Perk was
About
6
that.
foot. 6
but,
foot.
But he's
5'11",
yeah, I was gonna
6
say,
foot.
but
Rangy.
yeah, it's honestly about the fight and the dog. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter. It does now. Granted, it is like for instance the young kid number 5 from Mims. Is it Mims, the receiver from Baylor? I mean, if I was Baylor, I would have challenged Trey Brown and all those guys every opportunity that I could, just to,
Thing about it was Motley was on top of his route every time, like was
That's what
running his route for him.
I'm saying as far as Trey Brown, because Trey ain't that tall. Trey's like 5'10", maybe.
Yeah,
So I would have challenged just to see,
especially when he was in man to man.
Yeah,
I'm going at you, sir.
Yeah. And so they had their opportunities, but I'm totally fine with smaller DBs because it just depends on how they play. Do they have that confidence of saying, yeah, I'm small, but I'm gonna hold my own. I'm a doggy.
I said Straight was Straight would run Roy Williams routes for him.
Yeah.
When he would come to try to get on top of him to get on top for the vertical or whatever, he would jam him in. It was so simple the way he made it look so simple and how he played, but he understood the routes that were coming before they came and how he sunk his hips and how he ran his. It takes so much into what a DB does.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. I think it was Straight I was watching film with, and he would look at the hips and how a guy would stop and how they would move when they would go into different routes, and he would know how to jump it. He would know how to play in somebody's body.
Yeah, folks don't understand the preparation that goes into studying your opponent and just studying how you're gonna counter, how other folks play. That was one benefit of being with, Coach Mike and Venables and Chip and Bobby Jackwright and all those guys, because our defense, we took the time to perfect our craft.
And Jackie Ship would cuss
Yeah.
your ass out if you didn't get downhill
for sure.
to get the offensive lineman off of his D lineman.
For sure.
But like y'all always said, the friendly fire kept everybody in check, man. They'd had the offense scared. That shit really did. Because if D-line wasn't getting back there, the linebackers weren't getting through, and we'd pop a run for 4 or 5, and, the first person to get there book somebody, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But never. It certainly ever happened where we got gashed. We got gashed like a few times, you know what I mean? But you can always trace it back to somebody.
Who the hell wasn't in that gap?
Yeah,
right?
like it's it literally is like it ain't no first 48 forensic files. Like you can know.
Even
you go film. Oh,
even that
you got reached.
Even
You know
the
what I mean?
linebacker was saying that, hey, bro, that's your fault. We fired right there. Your ass to get in that A gap.
Yeah, dude,
That's real.
Hey, I'm telling you, come to the sideline and BV knows straight who to go to.
Yep.
Hey, Jackie, yeah, I know. He didn't get in this goddamn A gap.
Yep.
Get your powers. Shit, Jackie.
Yeah.
Going
What was your
off.
first step? What? Where?
Yeah.
Hell? Right here.
Dude,
Nah,
it's. I
That was the
loved
cool
it,
part
dude.
about defense.
Dude,
That's what I
what
love
I'm saying.
about
I
it.
love it
Yeah.
because it's like, all right, what happened? What did you do? Well, I went in the A gap. Oh, you're supposed to be in the B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got Rocky in the A gap. It's.
Yep.
Oh man.
At King of Big 12 wants to know what was the best/most complete game that you played while at Oklahoma, and was the best game played by the entire defense at OU that you were a part of. So individual game and then collective as a defense. Your national championship
National
game.
championship. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go in.
Yeah.
Because he got the natty.
Well,
I think
yeah.
most complete game. I think we beat Texas 12-0. They couldn't. That's Cedric Benson.
2004. Vince Young,
Cedric,
Jamal.
Vince Young.
No, Jamal wasn't there
Cedric
yet.
Benson, Vince Young, Lima Sweet, all those guys. They were
Selvin
really,
Young.
they was really talented on the offensive side, and we beat them 12-0.
David Thomas.
Most complete game that I played, proved, man. I had like 18 tackles against Boise State.
Yeah.
Still lost that one.
I was about to say, had to bring that motherfucking
yeah,
game
that
up.
was a tough one, but I had like 18 in that
Damn.
one.
I was there, brother. I came to watch y'all because we had I was in Chicago
Damn
at that
lost
time.
boy, man. Bird didn't even stay in his damn gap.
Something,
On
man.
that
That's a tough
Statue of
one.
Liberty.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
He got hooked by the tackle, the tight end, and the guard.
Boy, called 3 of them out.
Yeah, all 3 of them was on the outside
Oh,
of him.
my
I was like,
gosh.
God damn.
Somebody told me that Kevin Wilson called it, and BV didn't believe him. Was it you
I called
that was
it.
telling me?
I called it.
And but somebody told me on the sidelines.
Yeah, I think
that
Kevin Wilson called it
said
too.
they're not going to fucking call timeout. They're just going to run it. They're going to do some sloppy shit on the backside or something like that.
Yeah.
They're not going to throw the trips because they lined up in it, and then
they called timeout.
timeout.
And then they came back in it.
And, yeah.
And I said they're gonna do that. I said that. I forgot what I said to V. They're gonna do that. That play, coach. That one play. He was like, I ain't gonna do that shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. And they lined it up. All right. we're going to go jet. Because before when we came lined up, it was jet purple. So we was coming on the outside. They called timeout because we had lined up. We had it.
Perfect.
We had it. The play was done.
Damn.
He called jet purple. We was lined up on that line ready to go. Timeout. We came back in. They called, I think, Tampa 2. No, it wasn't even Tampa. They called... he called Palms in the boundary, Palms in the field, and Zach was out to play on that number 3 or whatever. If they was gonna do like a sprint out or whatever, and he did the Statue of Liberty. We just stayed with jet purple. It would have been game over.
Damn.
Because I would have been in the A. Oh boy, would have been on the outside. Actually, I would have been on the outside. It would have tired everybody else.
Off, nobody blocked him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Roy, individual game and collective game. 2 more questions after this.
It's not fair for me I can't point out just one game. And that's just a testament to how our defense played. I mean, hell, I think the first 5 or 6 games, I think we had an average of 4 to 5 turnovers each game. The first in 2001 season. Like, I mean, like no lie. Like either 2 picks, 2 fumbles, 3 picks, 1 fumble. I mean, we created some turnovers. You know what I mean? So that 2001 team, I mean, outside of us losing to Okie State, which we did not have a bad game. I mean, our offense just could not get it together. And then Nebraska, our offense could not get it together. I mean, it was, you know what I mean? So I understand, you know, when you're in the locker room, that's your team, you got your team back. You know what I mean? So people aren't going to say, like, if you're on the team, you're not going to say anything bad about one of your teammates, even though you can say that was some bonehead plays. You know what I mean?
Y'all bullshit.
You know what I mean? So I get
on the sideline, y'all going up to them, man. Y'all bullshit. Y'all
yeah,
need to get
no,
that.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But I'm just saying, as across the road, there, people aren't going to say anything about any of the players because that's their own. You know what I mean? Like I could have easily said stuff about certain players on the offense that were not performing to the ability, but we don't do that. We don't throw our teammates on the bus. We ride it out. So honestly, I would say every game in 2001, I mean, we steamrolled people. I mean, and then my best performance.
Your Arkansas game was crazy back then.
I would say Arkansas, but that's, I mean,
That was
our
some
2001
highlights, man.
Arkansas game, they only had 40, 50 yards for the
50
whole
yards.
game.
They didn't even get across the half.
I remember watching that shit. I was like, this is boring, but
I
Roy
watched
is
the hell out of that
fucking
shit.
good. I was like, this shit. That was the quarterback to pitch game, I think, where you tackled that dude like 5 yards deep.
Yeah, it was. And now I'm happy that it happened that way because we did a stunt with Corey Heineke and had him going inside. Then I was the opportunity
On an island.
to take on the island because at first it was Corey. And Corey had to play the he had to play the quarterback pitch, and it didn't. And that was actually his first Matt Jones. That was his his first play on offense. He came out and did that, and it was Corey, and I had to pitch. You know, and I was like, okay, when I get an opportunity, it's gonna be a little different. I'm gonna make you give up that ball.
Give
you know
everybody.
what I mean? But yeah, the Arkansas game was a good one. And then individual game, we can say Texas Tech when I played in Tech. You can say Tech. I mean, I had a good game against North Texas, but you know, I'm not going to keep score against North Texas. It's not right. You know, I had like 2 picks, 12 tackles.
I think I had but every game though, I can't remember a game where I didn't play. I think one year I played against Texas and I was bad. I played bad, but most of the games, but I think, and I've watched a lot of your games, there wasn't a lot of inconsistency in what y'all did as a team.
No.
As long as you went in your gaps, man.
Dude,
For me, it was like, it's hard to say that you had like this outstanding game because it's just everything went to the team had to pick their poison. Well, I'm going to run to Roy Williams. Or I'm going to run to this linebacker. So any given guy can get the 18 to 19 tackles. If that running back said, well, we trained to go in the A gap. Well, Teddy's the A gap guy. Yeah. He gonna always get that tackle in the A gap.
You knew, like, all right, this certain play. it's bad for me to say it, but it's like certain plays they'll call you. Like, It's not. I'm not gonna take off this play, but I'm just gonna sit back and just enjoy it.
Watch this
go
shit.
To work.
Well, I'm gonna just like whenever we'll do a pirate and I knew they were running zone, I'll do a pirate and I'll just stand on the back end. When that motherfucker come all the way back, you can come right straight to because the whole line is going this way. So I'll just sit there and wait, and the running back will come back to me and I'll make the tackle. I wouldn't even move a lot of times out of my stance, just walk down, tackle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Y'all like this one at Clamdigger1414. I think I know who you gonna say. He wants to know who's the one player you hated tackling, who gave you as good as they got. I already know you gonna say.
I ain't saying AD. Yeah. No, Alan Patrick.
Okay.
AP too was the same type of dude.
That's fine.
Alan Patrick, man, bad feet and all. That man would come and he would blast you the same.
Wow.
AD would drop his shoulder. He would like headbutt you.
Yeah.
And that was like, come on, AP, man. I was like, come on, Alan, man. It ain't me and you today, man. So Alan Patrick was a tough one to tackle. I mean, AD is an easy one to go with because he was tough for just anybody to tackle, though. Yeah. But Alan Patrick is one of those guys that he was 190 pounds, but he was 6'1", and when he put on that extra weight to be that running back, when he went up to like 210, he went up 210, 215. Shit, he was bringing that hat. I was like, dog, y'all better not go in there sidestepping against AP today.
Mm-hmm. Who you got, Roy?
Oh. I honestly didn't meet anybody that I was intimidated of. I mean, 2000, I thought growing up, you hear about the Red Machine, Nebraska, and how they run the option. You know, they got those big boys, but when we played them, you know, it's just like, you know, they're big guys, but you know, I mean, they fold like anybody else. You know
what you think of Jamar Toombs at A&M? They recruited me to be the next Toombs.
I get it, Jamar, and I would say Toombs. I mean, he was just a big dude, but he wanted to be all fancy and shake. You know what I mean? It wasn't. He wasn't. No, I'm gonna.
He ain't no all-star or some shit like that.
I mean? He's not. So I really didn't.
Still, the toughest tackle would be Quentin Griffin for me.
Man.
That man shook me in a small hole. It's embarrassing.
We played them spring games. I ate Q's ass up. I used to love going against Q because you got to understand as a defense perspective. For me, I always took it as a challenge when I was one-on-one with somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I never wanted to lose that battle.
Right.
So I used to love challenge myself of going against Q and all like Renato Works and all the. Mike Thornton, you know, those little shifty dudes. Like I always took it as a challenge,
right?
Because it's like, okay, if I'm going to do this in practice, game ain't gonna be shit. You
right?
Know what I mean, so I used to eat Q's ass up, boy.
But I was a puppy. I was a puppy when Q shit. I was a freshman, true freshman. I went in the hole. I went in the whole half stepping. I mean, Q gave me the business, bro.
He did it. He did it to Cooper for the safety for K-State. Shook him in the hole, bro. Like literally, he was like.
Man,
Q was just like gone.
Q shook me in the hole. I went through the hole, and he came straight through the hole that he shook me in. Like he jumped back out of it, and I went through it, and that man ran straight through. I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm gonna so bad on film.
I think I have it. I'm gonna have to find it. But one of the greatest jukes I've ever seen was Q. But it was how he did it more than because y'all know football. So the linebacker, we're playing in Missouri, and he gets this ball, and he has it in his right hand, and the linebacker's on his left side. And so he makes this cut like he's going to go out. Well, as he makes that cut, he switches hands with the ball, thinking that guy, like he's going to have that. Well, right as he switches hands, he cuts and goes upfield, and the guy just like right there, and you're just like, oh, my God. Like, who thinks of that, though?
Yeah.
Like, to give you the ball as a defender, you're right here next to the ball. All you have to do is and he just, and
Q was Q was
He was
different.
awesome running back. Man.
Yeah, he was different.
He had a good career too in the league. I mean, behind that
Clinton Portis.
Denver
Broncos.
Denver Broncos line.
Yeah, he'd be all right. I mean, Quentin's he coaching somewhere right now.
Northern Iowa, I believe.
Iowa, yeah.
Yep. At Matt D Mills 28 wants to know, who do y'all have winning it all this year? What chance do you give this OU squad?
I got Ohio State winning it all.
Really?
Yeah.
What chance do you give OU?
Oh man, I'll give OU a 45% chance of winning it.
What about you, Roy?
I like those odds.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm Coach Venables through and through. I'm Clemson. I believe in Coach Venable's defense. You know what I mean? If he's in, I know his defense is gonna be well prepared. You know what I mean? So, and they can create turnovers.
I think Young is a different breed.
Which one? Chase Young?
Yeah, Chase Young is a different breed of cat, and I ain't got nothing to do with BV at all.
Yeah.
If they can't run the ball on his side, because he made Wisconsin do 3-step the whole entire game. That's how good he is. I mean, he was coming off the ball. If that quarterback would have taken a 5-step drop, he was getting sacked.
Yeah.
So that's why
I'm pulling for BV too. I think, I don't know, man. I think they're on a different level. I don't think they've been tested like that. I think they're just gonna be healthy. I think they got a good draw as far as what they like to do. And
they're gonna play against Ohio State first.
And I say a good draw. I think the only team they'd probably rather play is us, honestly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
True. And I this is probably for another pod. I feel bad knowing y'all are defenders, knowing that people think that. Because the defenders I know, when somebody talks about our defense like that, I want to slap the shit out of them. Because I'm like, you don't fucking know what it was like to have a defense that was 10 out of 11 draft picks and talk shit.
But I think right now, though, you look at it, I don't think they're all around. Defensively, they've gotten better, but offensively, they're not at that level they were when they had Kyler Murray and they won the Joe Moore Award and all that stuff. When they had Baker Mayfield around, he had, and with the running backs he had, they don't have that right now. Offensive line wise, it's a struggle at some point.
They pieced it together.
Yeah, they pieced it together. I mean, it's hell of a coaching job getting into the college football playoffs by them. But the offensive line, bro, they had some struggles all year long.
Well, we could do this shit all day, man. This has been fantastic. Another great. Yeah, I know we got kids and shit. Speaking of kids, I think my son wants to say something. Thank you, Roy Williams. Thank you, Rufus. My boy Brad Reed. Thank you. What do you want to say?
Okay. You shut up and go Raiders.
Whatever. Fullback U.